Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S Jaishankar is on a 5-day visit to Russia. The time-tested India-Russia partnership, it has remained resilient and continues to be characterized by the spirit of special and privileged strategic partnership.
Well, during his visit, S Jaishankar will meet Denis Manturov, Russia's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Industry and Trade as well. The Indian External Affairs Minister will also meet his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. The two countries share strong people-to-people and cultural ties. And apart from Moscow, the Indian minister's program includes engagements in St Petersburg as well.
The India-Russia bilateral relationship, as I mentioned earlier, has remained strong and stable for over 75 years. The Indian embassy in Moscow was the first mission abroad by independent India. It's a broad-based partnership with steady support from the political leadership. The India-Russia partnership has been among the steadiest in the contemporary era. Committed to a multipolar world, New Delhi and Moscow are working to expand engagement beyond the traditional military, nuclear and space cooperation.
Both countries also looking to strengthen inter-regional cooperation, especially with the Russian Far East. Key connectivity initiatives include the International North-South Transport Corridor and the Chennai-Vladivostok Eastern Maritime Corridor. There is a synergy between Russia's pivot to the east and India's own flagship initiatives such as Atmanirbhar Bharat and Make in India.
For more on this, we're now being joined by Principal Diplomatic Correspondent Siddhant Sibal. Siddhant, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, to begin with, what can you tell us about this visit and the schedule for Dr. S Jaishankar?
Well, today is the second day of External Affairs Minister Dr. S Jaishankar's Russia visit. Yesterday, he began the visit by meeting the strategic community. And we know his two key main meetings will be his meeting with the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, and the Russian Trade Minister, Denis Manturov. Now, essentially, Russia-India relationship is something that has been growing at multiple pillars, whether it's energy, where we have seen increasingly India importing Russian crude oil, whether it's a people-to-people relationship where the Indians are going to Russia as tourists. In fact, the e-visa facility for Indians have been activated just few days ago, and of course Indians going to Russia for medical education and defense is something that we can speak for a long time that this is something that has been a historical angle to this relationship. So multiple pillars to this relationship, and this visit will essentially reaffirm the partnership between Moscow and New Delhi, which has been a factor of stability at a time when we have seen increased geopolitical tensions across the world.
Siddhant, now of course this meeting with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, that is expected to happen tomorrow. What can we expect from that meet? Well, that's going to be a pivotal one.
Well, of course, remember that Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov was in Delhi this year twice. First, of course, he was for the G20 Foreign Ministers meeting, and then, of course, he traveled for the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting. That, of course, was in Goa. But essentially, this is a meeting where both sides are going to discuss many issues, including increasingly doing trade in rupee ruble. This is something that has seen little problems, but essentially that this is something that both sides are keen on, and both sides of course have been increasing their trade as well. As I pointed out, it is importing of Russian energy, something that has been one of the key pillars, but that has led to a small problem as well, which is the trade deficit issue, and that is something that is worrying New Delhi. So India wants Russians to import more from India, and this has been part of conversation last time when Denis Manturov had visited Delhi. So several things on the table, but the priority, of course, is how both countries can regularly have conversation on multiple issues. And at a time when Russia is going to be chair of the BRICS grouping, it will be the chair of the BRICS grouping from next year in a week's time. So that means that there will be more consultations between New Delhi and Moscow.
All right, Siddhant, thanks for joining in and sharing all your insights on this.